Hey, welcome back to another episode of Captain's Log. And today I want to talk to you about some of the crossovers that Star Trek has done with other medium and stuff like comic books and novels and things like that. I've always been fascinated by this. And some of these that I'm going to tell you about today, I've actually have copies of. And so I have been able to enjoy them very much. And one of them that I want to talk to you about is this crossover between Star Trek and the X-Men. There's been like at least three to my knowledge that I know of, and I'll be talking about those today. This first one is based on the, well, not based, but comes from the 1996 comic book where the original series crew come in contact with a ship that's pretty much destroyed by, of course, a spatial anomaly. What else are you going to find out in outer space? And Spock, actually scanned this ship and found what he called near human survivors, which is code speak for mutants. But these mutants that they found were the X-Men, of course, and including Beast and Wolverine, and you could just imagine how much fun that was on the Enterprise, the original Enterprise. Now there was Dr. McCoy was also there, and anyway, so now the comic book featured somebody called the Shi'ar, and which includes one of the characters in the Shi'ar was Gladiator, who actually punched the Enterprise, actually hit it with his fist, of all things. And this led Kirk to, ask, did he actually just punch my ship? So this is not one that I have actually been able to read yet. I would love just to see that line in Kirk's reaction. And next on the list is, of course, you can't have a classic Star Trek crossover unless you include at some point somewhere Doctor Who. And fortunately, this one was between the Next Gen people and Doctor Who. And so what happens is the Borg and Doctor Who's Cybermen are involved, and that leads up that leads to a team up between Jean-Luc Picard and I think it was the 11th Doctor. His name escapes me right now, the actor. If you guys can provide the name in the comments, that'd be great. Thank you very much. Now, the Cybermen and the Borg have teamed up, but the Cybermen betrayed the Borg, which, by the way, causes them to join forces with the Doctor and the Enterprise. That's kind of weird to me that the Borg are actually on the side of the Enterprise. But now, that's just so fantastic. I would love to be able to read it. If somebody knows where I can get a copy of some of these that I haven't read, please let me know. I would love to get a copy of some of these crossovers. And speaking of crossovers that I do have this one because I had a subscription to IDW and their Star Trek series. It's where the Star Trek from the Kelvin universe teams up with the Green Lanterns from DC Comics in what they call the Spectrum War. Now, of course, obviously, it's going to be alternate universes for both. In the DC part of it, Necron is, going to be almost destroying everything. Ganthet escapes to the Kelvin universe, and with each one of the different rings from the Green Lanterns. And however, his he comes to an untimely end, if you will, and his remains are discovered by the Enterprise. And the rings, the lantern rings, the different color spectrum rings, are found by each different members of the Enterprise crew, and that is a wild story. I won't say that much about it, but it is awesome to see the Enterprise crew dealing with the different, the different powers or the different motivations behind each one of the rings. And as also, different species around the galaxy are also involved. Now, number 7 is one that I was unaware of, but apparently at one point there was a crossover between Star Trek and the Transformers. However, this version of Star Trek was the animated series of Star Trek, and they teamed up with the cartoon Transformers, of course. It was a 5-part series. It was done in the style of the animated series and, the 1980s version of the Transformers, as I've said. And now, of course, the Decepticons have shown up in the Star Trek universe. And believe it or not, the Decepticons are causing trouble. Goodness, who would have thought? But fortunately for the Star Trek crew, Optimus Prime comes along, saves the day, and brings with him the Autobots, and Starfleet and Autobots get together, and of course, ta-da! They defeat the Decepticons. But anyway, that is available through IDW. I haven't had it, gotten a copy of it yet. I would love to, because I'm, like I said earlier, I'm all about Star Trek and crossovers for Star Trek and different things. Now, once again, there's another crossover between Green Lantern and this time the Kelvin universe again. And it's a follow-up to the one that I just mentioned a little bit ago, the Spectrum War. It shows a different version of the Kelvin universe from the one in Spectrum War, where the various lanterns have gotten used to the Kelvin universe. Now, some though return to their evil ways, if you will, but others, like Hal Jordan, have actually joined Starfleet. Now, in this particular version, and I really want to see this, is that Khan, of all people, gets hold of the Red Lantern ring, which I understand is powered by rage. And Khan, in whatever version, whether it's in the original series or if it was in the Kelvin universe, he had a very controlled sense of rage. Even though he seemed nicey nice on the outside or dealable with on the outside, there was all this rage bubbling to the surface underneath. And that is something I haven't seen. I would love to see it, how they handle, and I'm sure it's going to be Benedict Cumberbatch's version of Khan that gets the red ring, not Ricardo Montalban's Khan, especially considering it's the Kelvin universe. But I would love to see how they handle that, and how Kirk deals with it and anything like that. So if you guys know where I can get a copy, please let me know. Now, the next one again is Star Trek Next Generation with another crossover with the X-Men. I believe this one was called Second Contact. And in this one, they had the X-Men encounter the Enterprise, but of course it's the Enterprise D. And the Enterprise has time traveled back to the 1990s, and they send an away team to Earth to find technology to repair their ship from whatever disaster or mishappening caused the damage. And so, of course, they encounter the X-Men, who happen to recognize the Star Trek uniforms and stuff from their previous contact with Kirk. And so that's something I would like to see. Now, the problem being is the arrival of the Enterprise has caused a rift. Sorry, I was going to say drift in the space-time continuum, and something that Kang, the Conqueror, this is the villain in this story. You know, he wants to use that to his advantage, but let's see. So that's something I would want to see. That's something I would recommend for people to read. Now, the next one is another crossover between Next Gen and X-Men, but it was actually a novel. I had that novel at one point. It's called Planet X. Now, this one, the Enterprise went to a planet to investigate an issue that was infecting the population. The people on that planet were changing into different beings with superhuman powers. And however, Picard can thank his lucky stars that the X-Men have arrived to help with the problem. And Starfleet and the X-Men team up to defeat or to help the mutating population on the planet and stop them from being used by weapons from by other alien species. My favorite scene from the book, though, was where Worf takes Wolverine into a holodeck and introduces him to his exercise programs, and Worf and Wolverine bond over this, and so they become friends. And I thought, oh, that's cool. Now, another crossover, and this is again one that I have thanks to IDW, is Star Trek and the Legion of Superheroes from DC Comics. And what happens in this one is Captain Kirk from the original series, and something has changed the timeline, and it's combined them and the Legion of Superheroes timeline. And of course, it involves time travel, and they work together to try and fix whatever problem has happened. And there's one panel in the comic or the graphic novel that shows all these different time travel devices, and it was real fun. One of them I remember being the time machine from H.G. Wells's the book, and that was just awesome. So that also hinted at other possible crossovers and stuff that might have happened, and that was a lot of fun, that one. And one that I had an absolute blast with is this next one. Was a crossover between Star Trek and the Planet of the Apes. I actually have this one. I loved it because it involves the Klingons, and through some dimensional rift, Kirk and crew from the original series cross over into the Planet of the Apes universe, and they come across to the planet where and of course we all know, having followed the franchise of Planet of the Apes, that the Planet of the Apes planet is actually Earth in the future, where apes have taken over. This was great. And it was just, you got to read it. And what happened was basically the Klingons were actually trying to expand their empire into another universe, and that's how the rift to the Planet of the Apes universe happened. And guess what? Of course, the Klingons team up with the apes, and all kinds of havoc comes about. George Taylor himself comes on board the Enterprise and asks Kirk for help. But Kirk, believe it or not, cites the Prime Directive, and he says, sorry, no, we can't help you out there. But they did help remove the Klingons from that universe and bring them back to their home universe. And what I thought was rather interesting in doing so, they offered an explanation as to how the three apes managed to time travel back from that time into Earth. I believe it was from in the movie Escape from the Planet of the Apes. What had happened was that I think it was Cornelius, one of the ape scientists that was involved, found a tricorder, and quite conveniently, the tricorder had information on it on how to do the slingshot effect in travel back into time. And the apes were smart enough to be able to figure this out. And so they used the explosion of the Earth from the cobalt bomb, and they managed to use it to propel them back into time. And that's how they ended up back in Earth soon after, of course, the original emissions happened with Taylor and stuff and company. So that I found interesting as a plausible had reason for how the apes ended up back in time. Now, the last one I want to talk about is it was a crossover between the aliens with the creatures that came out of the chest and all that. In researching this, I found out that it was kind of strange. What happened is that it would have been interesting to see the shot or the interaction between them and those alien creatures and the humans of that time. But it just seems to me that the differences between the two universes would have been so great that they're so vastly different that it would have been probably pretty much impossible to actually show this in comic book form, although I'm sure it would have been interesting to see. But anyway, that is the last one I want to talk to you about today.
Hello.
Check.
Check and mate, my young friend.
How about another challenge? You want to play a round of golf at the club and get some lunch? Whoever gets to the club last buys lunch.
Stand by to have your wallet emptied by a tractor beam.
Anything's possible, but probably not that.
Middle of the earth in the land of Shire, there's a brave little hobbit whom we all admire. Long wooden pipe, fuzzy woolen toes. Lives in a hobbit hole and everybody knows him, Bilbo. Bilbo Baggins, the bravest little hobbit of them all. Yeah. Go, Bilbo!
Call Leonard.
Go.
Hey, where are you?
Use your sensors.
No need. I'm already here.
You're there already? I feel like I'm stuck in a black hole.
No worries, I can practice my swing if you need to pull over and take a nap.
Smart ass. I have been, and always shall be, your friend.
Really?
I had.
Nice try, you wish.
No, I definitely had.
Not for a second. Obviously, you're buying lunch.
Technically, we're not inside yet. I'll see you inside. Fascinating.
All right. On this next section, I'm going to show you a video clip that was Leonard Nimoy and William Shatner at a convention, finally explaining the ins and outs of the infamous story from the original series when William Shatner stole Leonard Nimoy's bike. It's actually quite funny. Have fun.
Program complete. Enter when ready.
He's mean. He's really mean. I've been telling people this for years now. I want you to believe me tonight. I'm not kidding. He's mean. He's a mean person. He stole my bicycle.
I didn't steal your bicycle.
He stole my bicycle.
I'm going to tell you the story.
And I was not well at the time.
Okay, I'll tell you what we'll do.
He took advantage of a person in need.
Yeah, you were in
person
need.
Struggling, in pain.
You were in...
He did. He hurt me badly. I want you to know that. Is this being taped? Is somebody taping this? I want it on record, you know.
I wouldn't hurt you for the world, Leonard. But the problem was, every time they'd call lunch, you'd get on your bike and bicycle down to the commissary and get there ahead of line.
That's the logical thing to do.
Is there something I said? He's pushing the thing back.
I'm looking for the water. You want some water?
Yeah.
It's true. I had a bicycle. It had my name on it, too. That's right. Said it right there, Leonard Nimoy. And it spelled it correctly, too. N-I-M-O-Y. Okay, and I used to get on the bike because we had not a lot of time to get from the stage to the commissary to get your lunch and then get back to the makeup department, get the ears touched up, and then get back to the stage and go to work. So I used the bicycle.
Right.
And one day I walked outside the stage and my bicycle was gone.
Right.
So I came in on the stage and I was kind of upset. I said, "Who took my bicycle? Come on, guys. I got it here for a reason."
It wasn't gone. It wasn't gone. It was changed.
No, this is before. Now, my friend here decides he's going to have some fun with me. So one day after I had complained, he got my bicycle and he tied it to a rope, and they put the rope up in the rafters. And the ceiling is higher than the ceiling here in the soundstage. And with my bicycle, and everybody starts laughing. Ha 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 ha. I mean, is that funny to hide a guy's bicycle? And I was in bad shape. I mean, I could hardly walk at the time. I was like this, you know. Bill, you take advantage of a guy who's hurting. I was hurting very badly. I want some sympathy.
Wait a minute. Hang on a minute. He's only telling you half the story. Let me tell you the rest of the story. When he first got the bike, he'd pedal like crazy, and he'd get down to the commissary ahead of everybody else, and he'd get lunch before everybody else had. Now, these are important things. So I bought a chain and one of those locks that when you shoot them, they still remain in place. And I locked the bike to a fire hydrant.
Why?
And he came out and he said, who did this?
Yeah, why would you do that?
Well, because we all had to have lunch too. Everybody had the right turn. We had to run down that street and get our lunch. So he got bolt cutters the next day and opened the thing, and he got his bike. So the following day, well, look,
I'm not going to help you out.
No. I I don't need any help.
You're on your own.
I want to know whether you remember this.
I remember everything.
I breed Dobermans as well as horses. Dobermans. Now, Doberman's a great dog. They're very territorial. They love their master. And
His dogs are meaner than he is. And that's not easy.
I'm territorial too. So I put my dog in my dressing room every morning to go and act. So when I saw that his bike was unchained and somebody could take it, I took his bike and I put it for safekeeping in my dressing room. And when he asked me where his bike was, I said, I put it in my dressing room for safekeeping, Leonard. And then I went off to lunch. He got very upset. Just because a Doberman went for his throat. I told him the best way to stop a charging Doberman is while it's in midair, you reach in and grab its tongue.
With the Vulcan death grip.
Immediately stops.
I tried the Vulcan death grip. It didn't work. The next day, I had a very large car. I was driving a large Buick in those days. I had a large Buick.
You're still driving it.
Parked outside the soundstage. And to protect my bicycle, I put it inside my Buick and locked the car. Guess who had my car towed away? This is not a nice guy. This is not a nice guy.
It was one of those flyer bicycles, and I still have it. They're worth a lot of money.
Mr. Shatner, please have a seat. We have to let you go.
But I'm the voice of Priceline.
Yeah, but now it's the new Priceline.
What's new about it?
You can actually choose your flights, times, even airlines from a selection of very low fares.
Or you can still name your own price and save even more.
But who could possibly replace me?
Hi, guys. Hey, Bill.
Hey, Leonard. The new Priceline. Now there's a choice.
All right. On this next section, I'm going to show you some of the bloopers that came out of the 2009 film of Star Trek. They're, as any bloopers go, they're pretty funny, and I thought I'd just pass it along. Enjoy.
Program complete. Enter when ready.
Space. The final frontier. These are the continuing voyages of the Starship Enterprise. Her ongoing mission: to explore strange new worlds, to seek out new life forms and new civilizations, to boldly go where no one has gone before.
Spock, I look forward to the destruction of your planet and every planet around it. I've been waiting for this day my whole life. You will die. Your people will die. J.J. Abrams will die. You will all die.
How did you manage to beam aboard this ship?
You're the genius. You figure it out.
Has that been tapped? Oh my god. Are you a member of Starfleet?
Yes, can I have a towel?
Under... I order you to answer the question, how are you able to board a... I cannot keep it together.
I got you. I'll cover you. Mother!
Oh my god.
Kirk, how the hell did you get on...
You're coming with us, right?
No, Jim. My destiny... Oh,
Excuse me.
Yes,
Sorry,
Mr.
sir.
Chekhov, what is it?
Based on the Narada's course from Vulcan.
Citizen, what is your name?
Brian Burke. What's yours?
I intended to assist in the reestablishment...
My God, man.
I intended to assist in the Oh my God. Okay, seriously now, I'm sorry. I intended to assist. It's great stuff here. Magic.
And as if not in the book reel.
I intended to assist in the Oh my God.
Mr.
Nero shrimp.
Hey, Marco?
Oh, I'm so full of rhythm. Okay, here we go.
To surveil the Empire. But because the Romulans... Oh, brother! You little...
I think the fact that you picked up a signal from a Klingon person planet is very interesting. While it will feel ridiculous, it will look awesome.
It's a good thing I'm drunk.
Oh my God. This is fantastic.
All right, Mom.
It appears you've been keeping valuable information from me.
You'll be able to... You'll be able to fly this thing, right?
Something tells me I already have.
Good luck.
Jim.
Yes?
The statistical likelihood that our plan will succeed is less than 4.3%.
It'll work.
In the event that I do not return, please tell
No,
her
Spock!
that I love her, Virginia.
It'll work. Virginia.
Jesus.
Turn!
Sure. Fascinating.
That was awesome.
No one told
Okay, that's it for this week. Once again, thank you for watching, and may the great bird of the galaxy bless your planet.